Yes, we're back again. Welcome to FootyWit podcast on the Football Gist episode. My name is Ehis Anthony. It's been a minute that we've been on this podcast. We've had an episode actually. The EPL is no more until August before it resumes. But yeah, there's football in town, so there are other things that we could make content out of it. Euro 2020 in 2021. Quite weird though. Just for introduction, I'm here with Okpe. Okpe, what's up? How you doing?
Very well. It's always a pleasure to be here. It's been a minute. I remember calling you recently. I told you that look, it feels like forever. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Really, it is. It's been a minute, really, because we're always used to EPL, the banter, Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, but at the moment there is no EPL, but there is Euro 2020. So on the episode today we'll be discussing, we saw the ugly incident that happened. Let me just do a quick run of what we're discussing Euro 2020 and also touch on a bit of transfer updates for each of the top clubs in England. Like you all know, we focus on the EPL and also through a bit of bands here and there. Chimamaka will be joining us. He'll be joining us later in the episode. But before we start, there's just a little matter of the FPL we did. Fantasy Premier League. FootyWit had his own FPL league for last season for 38 weeks. The whole 38 matches. The match day 38. So we come up with a league where people joined from around the world, and proudly sponsored by AM Jersey. And the promise was the first winner will be awarded the favorite football club's jersey. Maybe you're a Manchester United fan, you're an Arsenal fan, or a Chelsea fan. You'll be given a jersey by AM Jersey Sports Shop, and our winner his name was Common Wilfred Boney. We've put this post on our social media platform about him coming to redeem his prize, but we've not heard any info from him. We know it's him. He's based in the UK, but our sponsor has told us if by the end of this week we don't get to, it's quite funny though. Yeah, it was really quite funny. Yeah. By the end of this week we don't see Common Wilfred Boney, which is his team name on our FPL Fantasy Premier League, the prize will be awarded to Hey for Real FC Abubakar Mubo, because we will try to get in touch with him. We know he's based in Nigeria. I think this thing has to do with an issue of location, right? Okay, because only is in the UK.
Yeah, but then apart from location, I think you should actually be paying attention to your FPLs. I know people are always on different FPLs. You could be in more than one FPL league. So probably he was more active. Maybe he doesn't even know that he won. He probably didn't know that he was in contender. Yeah. So I'm sure if he checks his mail, he'll probably see that he was a winner, and he was a winner. Claim prize as soon as possible.
Yeah. So we'll do everything possible within our power to ensure Oli or gets the prize. It's based in the UK, and it's good that we had a participant from the UK participate in our FootyWit FPL league sponsored by AM Jersey. That was the maiden edition, and we're coming up with another bumper one in this coming season, 2021-2022 season. It's gonna be bumper because there are a whole lot of surprises in there. But just to move straight into the matter, horrible over the week, Denmark versus Finland. We saw what happened to Christian Eriksen. Apparently I was watching the game, and all of a sudden I didn't even see it happen live. Like I didn't see it happen when he slumped, but I just noticed all of a sudden players were gathered. I felt maybe it was a head collision or something, and then I heard the commentators saying Eriksen collapsed and all that, and the rest is history. But we're happy, the whole world was praying for him, and we're happy he survived it. The doctor came out and said it was a cardiac arrest. How did you feel when you heard the news? Did you see it live or you heard after?
I didn't see it live. I wasn't watching the game, but I mean, I was online on Twitter, and then I just started seeing all sorts. I started seeing, even on my WhatsApp status, I started seeing scary stuff. So I had to tune into the game to see what was going on. And, you know, by the time I tuned into the game, they had gone on back. I could hear what the commentators were saying. But I did get to see the clip. I saw how he slumped. And it wasn't a pleasant sight.
It was scary, man. It was scary. It was so scary, man.
He passed the ball, and then he could just feel himself going. And, you know, that's how he just slumped. And then the worst part was that he slumped just in front of the stand where his partner is, or rather where she was. So it was terrible. But, you know, thank God for him having brave teammates. You know, thank God for the leadership of the team, I should say. Talking about Simon Kier and Kasper Schmeichel, they did the right thing for me. They protected Christian, and they made his partner feel safe. And also kudos to the referee, and big ups to UEFA and the Euro Committee for having good quality medical service on standby. I think the world of football should have learned from the Fabrice Mwamba incident, and you know, the use of the defibrillator is very, very important now in football. So I'm glad that they had that, and I believe all other match days, all other medics on match days will have the same set of equipment, because anything can happen. You know, I was talking to someone, and someone said, you know, it could just be an issue of exhaustion. It's been a bumper packed season. He's had little or no rest, and then he's coming into another tournament straight off the bat. But you know, I also listened to the interview with Christian Eriksen's cardiologist while he was at Tottenham Hotspur. You know, Christian did not have any underlying ailment, and didn't have any underlying regarding his heart rate and whatnot. So probably this is a new development. So it's going to take some time. I mean, tests will be done, investigation will be carried out, and even he himself would want to know exactly what went wrong. But I mean, it would be really sad if it's just a case of exhaustion. So I mean, I think we need to do better going forward with this coming season. I know that this last season was really done to patch up the misfortunes of
what happened during the COVID-19, 2020.
It affected the season before and this current one that just ended. But I believe now we should be going back to business as usual, and things should be better for footballers. They deserve better. They are human beings, you know, and we just saw firsthand. And Christian Eriksen is a human being, and if not properly rested, you know, he could lose his life. But we thank God that he's alive. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it was an emotional scene, because seeing the way the players rallied around. At first, I was of the opinion that they should just stop broadcasting this, because privacy is needed. And we saw what because I was watching it live, and we saw what the health workers did. They came with banners, you know, just to do like a covering while they were trying to resuscitate him. We heard the interview by the cardio, the doctor that ran to the pitch. He said Eriksen was gone, but thank God for what they did, their medical, I've forgotten medical procedure that they were able to apply on Eriksen. And luckily, because for me that was just the positive news that evening, despite Denmark, you know, proceeding after they restarted the game, even after they lost, it was positive. But that's another matter. Should UEFA had allowed that game to be completed? Because listening to the interview by Peter Schmeichel, there was a condition given if they were to, you know, continue the following day, or continue that same day, the remaining 50 minutes, or abandon the game and get deducted, or lose the game 3-0 and 3 points being given to Finland. And you know, the way they put the players to a corner for them to decide wasn't fair. Now, quoting Peter Schmeichel now, saying it wasn't fair, that UEFA should have done more. But do you think them having to come back to complete that game after hearing that Christian Eriksen was back, it was back to life, and he was speaking already, and he was able to answer a few questions, and his health status was okay? Do you think it was nice for UEFA to have made them to complete that game that same day?
Well, I mean, they had three options, really. Just like you said, they had three options. They could have decided to forfeit the game, But I don't really know if Eriksen continued playing. I don't know if it would have made a difference in terms of the results.
It could have made a difference. It
could have made a difference. It could have made a difference, but we don't know that for sure. Denmark were not really at their best. The only difference between when Eriksen was on the pitch and while he was off, it was just evident that he knew how to control the tempo of the game. We all know Christian Eriksen. We know what he can do. He plays in that deep line playmaking role, and he was definitely controlling the tempo of the game before he went off. So does that mean Denmark could have won the game? No. I think Finland were more hungry. And then if you take a look at the goals, if you rather need the goal and what led to it, it was kind of like a silly error. A bit of just lack of concentration at the back.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure that would have made a difference. In terms of what UEFA should have done different, I don't think they could have done much different in my own opinion.
I just feel I'm not talking about, I'm not trying to, give credence to Finland winning because Eriksen was not in the game, because I understand your analysis. Okay, even if Eriksen was in there, would have been a difference. What I'm trying to say is, we're humans. Emotionally, I was not on the pitch that day. I was watching. I could feel that, is this a life that would go just like this? So imagine the players that were there before the first half. They were together, the prep before the game, talking together, holding hands, and all of a sudden someone you saw a few minutes ago is no more. The shock will definitely be there. Should they have given them time to go through that shock? Because you even heard the interview from Denmark coach. He said the players right now will have to go through a crisis. I've forgotten the terminology used, but they have to go through a therapy of having to come out of that shock that they witnessed on the pitch. We saw what happened. Even Højbjerg of Tottenham missed a penalty in that same game. Even the goal Finland scored was an error from Kasper Schmeichel. So I don't need any soothsayer to tell me that those players would not have been in the right state of mind. So UEFA, given those conditions, should have even, just because of what happened to Christian Eriksen, just take the game to looking at the fixtures of Euro 2020. Yes, I understand they're trying to manage time and all that. You could still squeeze in a day in the next 1 week or in the next 2 weeks for them to finish that game. Just my own personal opinion, though.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done that, but it would have been difficult because we usually know how these things work. Once the group stage is completed, it's just 2 days of rest before the quarterfinals of the round of 16. So it would have been difficult. But I think at the end of the day, I think UEFA did well in my own opinion. You pointed it out, taking a look at the goals that were scored. I rather the goal that was scored and the manner in which it was considered, Højbjerg missing his penalty. But I do understand that the Danish players would have felt some sort of shock, but we clearly saw that Christian Eriksen was alive. We see that he was
despite that.
Yeah, I understand. I get you.
Because as a player too, what will be going through your mind is what happened to Christian Eriksen. What if it happens to me? What if I'm the one that gets a cardiac arrest? See, the ginger or the morale would definitely go down. So, I fault UEFA in whatever they did. They should have been able to look into the situation and see how possibly postpone the game after the last group matches, fix a day, and everybody will be fine. Because right now, these guys, even if Denmark don't qualify for the second round, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. You still got anything to say on that, or we should just move on?
Let's just move on because we're obviously on the opposing ends.
Yeah.
But look, it is what has happened. But they've got 2 matches left to redeem themselves. You know, the Danish team is not so bad in my own opinion. They've got other key players who can make a difference for them. You know, on a good day, PME Højbjerg should not be missing a penalty. You know, they've got a great goalkeeper in Kasper Schmeichel. They've got a great central defender and captain in Simon Kjær. I mean, there are other prospects to look forward to in this Danish team.
But before we move on to this topic, sorry for cutting you there. Is this will Christian Eriksen ever play football again? So what happened to Fabrice Muamba?
Really,
do you think he would ever play football again?
I'm optimistic about that. I think he would, but you need to follow just due process. Just first of all rest, and then do all the necessary tests, and just take your time before coming back. We saw what happened in 1996 in Milan when Kanu slumped, and thankfully he had medical service with him. So he had to go through a heart surgery. Found out that he had a hole in his heart, and Kanu kept on playing football for the next 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. 10 to 12 years. So anything is possible, really. Anything is possible. But I'm very, very sure that due diligence will be done. He's playing for a world-class club in Internazionale Milano. That's Inter Milan. So, they wouldn't want to put his health at risk. He's playing for one of the top European nations as well, European countries as well. So, because to come first.
Yeah, true. But in the case of Fabrice Muamba, we know his own is quite different, because Fabrice Muamba's own, he stopped breathing. You think it was dead for like 74 minutes. 74 minutes. Yeah. But his own was just, luckily, they was able to resuscitate him, and he came back and it's fine. So we just hope, we pray he comes out of this fully fit and comes back to play football. Like, everybody loves football, man. We even heard in the interview while he was in the hospital, he said he was ready to pick up his boots again to go start training, and they were like, no, guy, chill, man.
But that's just the boy. That's just the boy him talking. I remember Bob used to play football. Anytime we get injuries, we don't even wait for the injury to heal. We just want to get back.
We're back at it.
Exactly. It's the love of the game. It's the passion.
Yeah. So moving on, Euro 2020 in 2021. Imagine if Euro 2020 was not postponed to 2021 due to COVID, reasons, COVID-19. This whole weeks would have been just so flat. There will be no football, but thank God we have football to watch. So it's good to have Euro 2020, and there have been some good displays. Teams that we've picked to be contender, and they've done well. Italy, Belgium, even England, we saw them winning yesterday, and we saw Czech Republic demolishing Scotland today. Beautiful goal by the Czech number 10. What's his name again? Chalik or something? Patrick Schick. So that will stand to be a goal of the tournament, because that goal was wonderful, really, really wonderful. But there is a team I would like us to focus on this episode, which is the Azzurri, Italian team. Those guys, we saw their game against Turkey in the opening match, 3-0. Goes from Immobile, Insigne, and this other guy. Now they've gone on 28 unbeaten run from 2018 that Roberto Mancini took over. Now, looking at this Italian team, we've seen the last Euro. I think they crashed out of the last Euro in the quarterfinal stage. They didn't even make it into the World Cup, competition as a whole. They didn't qualify. So the last major tournaments they've won was the World Cup in 2006. So the football has been like on a decline, and all of a sudden, ever since Roberto Mancini took over, it's been like up again. And you need to be careful of this Italian team, because seeing how many games they've gone without conceding a goal, adding the Euro 2020 qualifiers and the European National League with the friendlies, they've not conceded, and see the way they demolished Turkey in the first game. So what say you about this Italian team, the Azzurri?
Number one, it's the quality in depth for me. It's absolutely amazing. They've got strikers like Andrea Bellotti, Ciro Immobile, and then you've got a player like Bernardeschi warming the bench. You know, it's amazing. And then you've got the likes of Lorenzo Insigne in the team. Even in the wing-back position, you've got depth there as well. Matteo Damian, Di Marzio from Napoli. And obviously, the defense is the main thing for me. Talking about the likes of Bonucci and Chiellini, who are seasoned veterans.
Yes, the veterans,
who know
man.
how to control a game. David Astori is in that team. They've got great players on the bench, you know. And obviously, Gianluigi Donnarumma, one of the best young goalkeepers in the world currently as we speak. Nicolo Barella had a fantastic season for Inter Milan. You know, he was great, one of their standout players, and he's doing fantastically well for the Italian national side. So Berardi as well had a good season for Fiorentina. A lot of great players in that Italian squad. And what I love the most about them is just that the hunger and the desire to always do better. You can see that it's instilled in that team. Roberto Mancini has done a great job with the squad as far as I'm concerned. It has always been a squad of individual players who are doing well, exceptionally well for their club. You know, they are in good form. They are physically they are good. So you need to check some boxes before playing for this current Azzurri squad. What Roberto Mancini did was to revive the attacking force. And then, you know, a major proponent to that was him bringing Gianluca Vialli on the coaching staff. And then Vialli has obviously had an impact on the strikers who have been playing currently, you know. Shout out to Immobile and Bellotti, who have been
also Insigne as well.
Yeah, exactly. Insigne too has done well. I mean, there are some certain strikers who you'd have expected to be in the team who are probably missed out, and that's just because they're not in form. They're not in top form. So it's good to see Italy back to where they belong. I believe Italy has always been one of the best footballing nations in the world, and it's good to see them back to where they belong. Very solid in defense and lethal going forward.
You know, for me, looking at the squad Roberto Mancini took over, the 23-man squad, would you want to say there's a bit of bias to the Italian clubs? You know, yes, you could see that they are much of it. Yeah.
Usually we see a lot of Juventus players, Inter Milan players, AC Milan players, but I mean, a number of Italian clubs that are represented in the team currently, but there's great diversity. I mean, take a look at someone like Andrea Bellotti. He plays for Torino. Take a look at someone like Emerson. Emerson plays for Chelsea. Okay, Barella plays for Inter Milan. We've got Chiellini and Bonucci for Juventus.
Locatelli for Sassuolo.
Locatelli as well. So you can see a bit of depth in the squad. Berardi plays for Fiorentina. Who else? The goalkeepers, you know, Di Lorenzo playing for Torino as well. So there's a bit of diversity when it comes to this current Italian squad, and that's what I love the most. For me, that's one good thing that Mancini has done.
Yeah. So
because you are playing for a big club, you're going to be an automatic starter. You what?
So that was the point I was trying to make. Like, if there was a bias towards the Italian clubs, is this a sign that we're saying? Because even looking at Europa League, looking at the Champions League, we've seen that the Italian teams have really dipped. Is this like a way for Italy to rebuild, because they are one of the powerhouses in Europe when you talk about club football, European Champions League and also Europa League or UEFA Cup back then? Is this like a process of bringing Italian football back to the fore? Because looking at the squad, definitely you could say yes, there's a bias to the Italian clubs. You could only pick like one or two, three players from outside the Italian Serie A. Even Verratti playing for PSG, with how spectacular he is, couldn't even make the starting lineup against Turkey. Jorginho or whatever he's playing, there's this guy, what's his name, that scored the first goal. You know, had to start ahead of him. So is this like a way of Italy rebuilding for the future and coming back as powerhouse in European football?
First of all, the rebuild is not for the future, it's for now. You take a look at these great players on the pitch, they can deliver the trophy for Italy. So it's about now. And if we think about some of the most successful teams recently, apart from France, if we take a look at Spain, Italy as well, when they won the 2006 World Cup, all the players in the squad were plying their trade in the Italian Serie A. They were playing for the big clubs in Italy. So this is what works for them. It has worked in the past before. These players know each other. They don't have to travel for so long to come to camp. So like you could see just probably only 3 players who don't ply their trade in Italy. Talking about Marco Verratti, Florenzi, who plays for PSG as well, and then Emerson, who plays for Chelsea. But the rest, you could see all of them ply their trade in Italy. The other 2 goalkeepers, Alex Verret and Salvatore Sirigu, they play their trade in Italy as well, Napoli and Torino respectively. I mean, who else? Spinazzola, Rafael Toloi. Look, these were the best of the best players. Even take a look, Gaetano Castrovilli is even in the squad. He had a great season for Fiorentina. So, and he cannot even make the starting lineup. Absolutely ridiculous. So that just goes to show you the squad depth. And obviously, if someone like, if Lucas Zaniolo was fit, he would be in this squad. There's no doubt about that. He had a haphazard season with Roma, injury ridden. But I'm sure if he was fully fit, he will be in this squad as well. Major players also missed out in this Italian team, but it's looking like a successful squad. I just wanted to correct you. You said the 23-man squad. Right now it's the 26-man squad.
Sorry, apologies. I tried to do something was off when I said 23-man squad.
It's a 26-man squad, and for me it's weird, but it's needed. It's because of the the exhaustion. You need more options. So it was a good decision at the end of the day. I mean, it's a major reason why the decision was made that till this season we have at least 5 substitutes on the team for all European competitions. It was only the English Premier League that decided not to take the option anyways. But I'm glad that with 26 man squad. It does look weird. It feels weird to see jersey numbers 24 to 26 in the European competition. It is what it is, but it's good. Hopefully this is the first and the last.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. For me, the good question is, do you see these guys as contenders or pretenders? The Italian guys, do you see them? Okay, bit of a technical ish there, but can you hear me now, Okwe? What's up? Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so do you see this Italian guys, do you see them as contenders or pretenders? Because having this massive build towards this competition by Roberto Mancini and his technical team, if they don't win this, it could spell doom. Could it spell doom for him? Because yes.
Number one, they are serious contenders. They are far from pretenders. Their current form shows their intention towards this tournament. And like I said before, they've got the individuals and they've got the squad depth, this quality there that can definitely bring this trophy home. So if they don't even get to win the trophy, where they finish really matters. I believe getting to the final is the goal, even if they don't win. And if they don't win, it does not spell doom. Roberto Mancini has signed a contract extension. He should be the manager of the Italian national team during the 2022 Qatar World Cup. So that just goes to show you that they believe in him. They believe in his process, his methods, and they like what he's doing with the Italian national setup as a whole. Not just the senior men's team. His philosophies are being passed down to the age grades, So even if they don't win, look, Roberto Mancini is good. They will then go for the 2022 World Cup, and they will then evaluate after that.
Yeah, looking at other countries as well. There are other countries in this competition that also they are here to win it. Powerhouses like Belgium, Spain, Portugal. Portugal, France. You know, we have a group of death already in Group F. Seeing Portugal, France, and Germany in one same group, but these are guys that are like contenders that we know, and you know there'll be a little bit of dark horses here coming to want to spring surprises in this competition. Spring a surprise in this competition. A team like Czech Republic, you saw them today. They were well organized. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they came into the game to do. A team like Netherlands, as well, and also Ukraine. You saw them. They almost took Netherlands, by surprise yesterday, but the Netherlands were able to, pick a goal towards the end of the game and win it. These are other teams that are here to win it. Do you think Italy, the Azzurri, can surpass these guys by going ahead to win it? It's going to be a difficult task. I bet you know that.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult, but they can do it. That's the most important thing. Their defensive record has been good so far, so you know that they can definitely put up a fight against the best of the best. And at the end of the day, it's knockout football. That's the best thing about tournaments like this. So your current form will definitely not matter when it comes to knockout football. Anything can happen. So this is one of the major reasons why we love tournaments like this. So I'm looking forward to the blockbuster games.
Yeah, Chimamaka just joined us, like we said at the beginning of the episode. Chimamaka, what's up? Do you see the Azzurri, the Italian teams, are they pretender or contender in this Euro 2020?
Contenders, because you can't just try them just like that. They've had a very wonderful run of form to the Euros, and we've seen that they are not just there to just be figureheads. No, this guy I can reach this squad that and so on. Just to mention, while the East, I wouldn't in any way call them pretenders. They're actually contenders. And if you look at them, there's also them as it is presently, not too much. So
I think
about them as the East presently, it only means that these guys can be underdogs.
We're kind of like struggling to hear Chimamaka. I think the network is so crazy, man. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. And clear.
Okay, you were making a point.
Well, I would just run over on what I was saying. It's to look out for. Actually, not the Belgium team, not the French team, not the Netherlands guys. Yes, those guys are up there, but watch correct havoc, like the days of Greece and co back then.
Well, we hope the Azzurri, we hope. For me, yes, a very good team, formidable team, impressive record, 28 games unbeaten thus far, and added to the way they demolished Turkey in their opening game. So we'd like to see the test against Switzerland, against Wales, and we see them progress. And let's see how far, because it's one thing for you to be in one superb form coming into the competition, and when you now get into the competition, into the meat of the matter, that's when a lot of things. Yeah. You were trying to say something, Okwe?
Yeah, I was just saying that, when it comes to knockout football, that's when we see the best of the best come out. So we might not see a lot of exciting games, but I mean, so far so good. We're seeing quality right from the get-go. These teams are not playing. I mean, take a look at the game between the Netherlands and Ukraine. The Netherlands wanted to be comfortable, but Ukraine were not having it. Adrian replied with an outstanding goal, and then it could have been 3-3 at the end, but the Netherlands were able to hold on and get 3 points.
gonna have to cut you the network. I could barely hear you, though. I could barely hear you. Yeah.
You know, it's when we get to the knockout stage. That's when we see exciting football. Never it's not so good to see the exciting football, actually. You know, from the game in the Netherlands and Ukraine was a good start game. And
yeah, and the Gremlins took Okpa's voice away there. But I think I was able to listen. I was able to hear what he was saying, that yes, when it gets to the knockout stage, things can go south. Anybody can take it. That was the point I was trying to make, that I would love to watch the Italian game, the Italian team, before I make my decision on if they could possibly win the competition. I have to see the next game against Switzerland and against Wales, and even the second round. See how they fare before I could beat my chest and say they can go ahead and win this competition. Because Belgium too, we saw what they did, demolished Russia 3-0. Lovely goals by Lukaku. Apparently, Chimamaka, you Chelsea fan. Chelsea are kind of like interested in Lukaku again. But seeing his impressive performance, would you guys want to put the money on him?
From Lukaku is not coming to Chelsea. I can say that with all that he's going to remain at Inter Milan.
This network is killing us, man.
To have Lukaku, but we can't keep dwelling that or living by the fact he's a wonderful player. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, it's just breaking.
The network.
I can hear you, but it's breaking.
Maybe they don't want us to talk much football. We just have to round off this. We just have to round off the podcast here, because really it's crazy, you know, having to have this, you guys turning you guys into robots. I don't understand. Everybody's sounding like but it's all good. It's all good. We hope to keep this up, and we hope to what's the word? We hope to be here next week also to talk about football like we always do. But you know, the area we are communicating from, we're launching out from, is Nigeria, and we all know what's happening. Twitter has been banned in Nigeria, so I can't foresee that we are on Twitter. I could just say that we are on Instagram and also YouTube. Just for safety's sake. So you could just catch up this podcast on YouTube. You can watch it, and you can also please like our post on Instagram. And also the podcast is also deployed on other platforms, the Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, and also Spotify. You could listen there as well. We promise next week, we hope we sort this whole technical issue out, and we hope we have a good podcast and a good way to talk about football. But from us here, we say stay blessed and enjoy the rest of your week.